Smart money just made their decision. It's rotating from Bitcoin towards altcoins, and that's exactly what we need to discuss within today's update video, because I'm expecting some major moves within the altcoin market over the next few months here. So let's talk about exactly that, but also much more, like the most important Bitcoin charts, the latest news hitting the markets here, and of course a deep dive into towards Ethereum and altcoins. So from there, guys, make sure to first of all subscribe to the channel and watch and like my latest YouTube videos, and then we can dive in towards the most important content. Since smart money seems to have made their decision, and this was something we have seen coming for a few weeks basically, but now we saw an inflow in towards the Ethereum ETF of over $1 billion, and that is absolutely insane. That is a record inflow for those Ethereum ETFs. And at the same time, Bitcoin saw a much smaller inflow of only about $175 million. So smart money is now flowing in towards Ethereum. Bitcoin is moving to the downside, and Ethereum is holding up very strongly here. So the environment for altcoins is only to get better and better, which means that for the total to market cap, so basically everything besides Bitcoin, we could be expecting a huge breakout, just like we saw with Bitcoin, out of this cup and handle pattern. I do think for me, guys, the next few months are going to be absolutely insane for altcoins. But before we talk more about some altcoins here, I do want to discuss the most important short-term Bitcoin price action, because like I said, Bitcoin is dumping to the downside, and I do think there could be two scenarios for Bitcoin here. Currently it's retesting this bull flag pattern, which could indicate a bottom for Bitcoin, but on the flip side we also do have a CME gap still under us, which is waiting to get filled here. So there are basically two scenarios: or the complete filling of this CME gap, or a bounce on this bull flag and then a new move higher, of course, and then filling up the CME gap later after that final Bitcoin move. But I do think, yes, for Bitcoin still another major move higher is left. So or we fill up the CME gap first, or we do it later. I do think a bounce for Bitcoin is getting quite close, because we saw huge strength on Bitcoin on this breakout out of the bull flag. So I do think also Bitcoin is still looking quite bullish here. And guys, if you do want to be trading Bitcoin altcoins yourself, make sure you do it on Bitunix over here, because here you can claim some absolutely insane deposit bonuses. You can claim over $400 just by signing up on the platform. So make sure to check it out if you're getting interested in trading Bitcoin and altcoins yourself. And from there, I do want to discuss some Ethereum, because BlackRock did buy almost $640 million worth of Ethereum. So that is absolutely insane, and we saw a total inflow of over $1 billion in towards that Ethereum ETF. So like I stated in the beginning of this video, smart money is taking their decision and is betting on Ethereum and altcoins next here. So that is looking absolutely insane. Today we also are going to see the CPI data drop at 2:30 p.m. So make sure you're aware of exactly this, because I do think some volatility could be hitting the markets, because it's going to be very important data for that rate decision, because we have the CPI, PPI, and also the initial jobless claims dropping this week. And I do think all of these data points are going to be super important for the rate cut decision in September. So the market is definitely going to shake, and hopefully to the top side with some bullish inflation data. Then we have Ethereum versus Bitcoin starting to move back to the top side again, which is looking quite bullish. This is going to be the most important level to break for Ethereum versus Bitcoin, just like we saw the last few times. Once we do break, so I'm expecting a major breakthrough for Ethereum versus Bitcoin and that next move higher, because it seems like Ethereum's actually moving towards new all-time highs quite soon. I do think we have definitely moved above this range. Maybe we could be retesting it if Ethereum starts flipping more bearish, but I don't think we will break below that quite soon here. And this is going to be the next level Ethereum could be moving towards, basically that previous all-time high level. I do think this is going to be highly likely for Ethereum. But on the other hand, in this final stage of the cycle for Ethereum also, once we are going to break all-time highs and basically in this and this range, I do think there are going to be a lot of opportunities for altcoins also, because the higher Ethereum is about to move here, the bigger the wealth effect is going to be. People are going to take a lot of profits on Ethereum and they are going to start rotating in towards altcoins. And this is going to be the most important charts to be exactly catching that rotation on time. It's a total 3 first Ethereum chart, and now we can see that Ethereum is heavily outperforming altcoins because total 3 first Ethereum is moving down. Once the total 3, so basically everything besides Ethereum, is going to start outperforming Ethereum itself, this chart will start moving up again. That would indicate an altcoin season, because now it's definitely still an Ethereum season. And this is something we also saw in 2021 before we saw altcoins starting to outperform here. So this is going to be a super interesting chart to monitor over like the next few weeks. And of course, we will stay discussing it on the channel. So just make sure to subscribe on the channel, guys, and don't miss out on any update videos, because this is going to be a huge important period in the market, guys. So don't miss out, because I do think that altcoin season is getting super close now. Currently, it's not an altcoin season yet, so it's basically still a great period to be accumulating more altcoins. So make sure you do so before that next and final move is about to hit the markets here, guys. And that was also it for today's update video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys within the next update video tomorrow.